Good morning and welcome to Monday Morning Live. It's great to be back with you. Apologies for the slight technical hitch, but I forgot to put the video in. So, Sophie, over to you.
Great. So thank you for joining us today. Obviously, Holy Week is here. It's hard to believe that we're so close to Easter. It's this weekend that we've been journeying in the wilderness for all this time, and it's almost behind us. And this is going to be the second Easter that we've had restrictions. I honestly can't believe that. We did it last year and we're doing it this year as well, but that's not going to stop us from entering into this week and the most sacred part this weekend with the Triduum and Easter. So we have a little video here to remind us what this week is all about. Okay, I like that video because there's so much happening over the next few days that it's good to have a reminder of what's going to happen and why it's happening and all the things that are going on. So I thought we'd have a little quiz to see how much our team know about Holy Week, and I have not given them the questions beforehand deliberately. And some of the questions are a bit tricky, so I hope you're paying attention and you've done your research. I know that as a team, we've been doing lots of preparation for Holy Week. Like I've been researching the different days and the scriptures and the themes and the symbols. So I thought this was a good test of what's been happening. Okay, so question number one. We'll start with an easy one.
Good.
Where did the agony in the garden take place?
Is this a trick question? Because, I would have said the garden.
But what was the garden called?
I don't know. Guess something.
Well
Could you make the
done,
questions
Tom.
clearer, please, next time?
So yeah, it was the Garden of Gethsemane. Tom, bonus point. What day do we remember it on?
Is it Good Friday?
Day before.
Monday, Thursday.
That's why we're going to have the watching after the Monday, Thursday service. Okay, number 2, another easy one. Sandy, you should be able to get this one. Who betrayed Jesus?
Oh, it's an easy one.
Go on, Sunday.
Am I getting to answer this one? Okay.
Yeah.
Judas.
Judas, yeah. And bonus point, do you know what he received for betraying Jesus?
It was a little bag of money.
Silver coin,
Silver.
wasn't it? Okay. This is a tricky one. You have to be paying attention to your scriptures to know this one. Which criminal was released instead of Jesus?
Barabbas.
Look at this. On it, Tom.
I want a bell to ring. I want a bell.
Yeah, should we go ding ding ding
You can
ding?
put your hand up or
I was
something.
there.
Good job. Tom's been doing his research for this week. Well done.
Tell you.
Okay,
I don't slack.
maybe a controversial one because I know some parishes have different things, but how many stations of the cross are there? Go on, Tom.
12?
See, you could argue 14.
14.
So this,
Yeah.
but okay, I'll let you decide, Sophie. I'm not adjudicating that one because I would say both are probably right.
Yeah, both are right. So sometimes we can do 12 and sometimes we can do 14. Depends on whether you're including like Jesus in the tomb and the
Now,
resurrection.
maybe this is a question to Father Chris for later on, but like, is it not Good Friday where you only go to the 12th station? Might have made that up. Anyway, sorry, carry
That's
on.
true.
Something to ask Father Chris later on when we tune in. Okay, who helped Jesus carry his cross?
Simon.
Well done. Where is he from?
Cyrene.
Cyrene.
Tom, I was in there. I was in. I got in
Yeah,
that one. I'm not waiting.
For some
I'm just
reason,
going.
I thought like Michael or something. Like I knew the name, but it just wasn't there.
Okay, next one. Who wiped the face of Jesus?
Mary.
Veronica.
Oh!
Well done,
I
Tom.
need to think about the answers first now. I'm going to stop
I'm
you
sure
saying that.
Mary did wipe Jesus' face many times throughout his life, especially
Yeah.
as baby. But
Yeah,
in
definitely.
Holy Week, we hear about Veronica wiping the face of Jesus. Okay, a tricky one.
Oh.
What did the sign on the cross say?
Oh, go on, Tom.
I and our right, here lies the King of the Jews.
So it said, my answer here just says King of the Jews, but you can have INRI as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's
they
what's
said-
now replicated, isn't it? Most top and most
Yeah.
crucifixes.
Yeah, they said this man
Crucifix.
said he was the King of the Jews. Okay, another tricky one. Want to see if you've been doing your research this week, doing your reading. Who made the arrangements for the burial of Jesus?
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Oh no. So,
No, I've not got the name.
I think this is very wrong. Is it Andrew?
No. It's
Something son off.
Joseph of Arimathea.
Yeah.
Oh, I was way
That's
off.
who they borrowed from.
We never got
That was a tricky one. Okay, and last one as we look forward to Easter Day itself. Who was the first to discover that Jesus had risen?
Mary?
The woman.
Mary who?
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene, exactly. That's it. I am very, very impressed with all of your Holy Week knowledge. You've obviously been doing your homework. for
Well
this
done,
week.
Tom. I think we blagged that one well.
And obviously, as we head into Holy Week, we're going to hear lots of different scriptures and things. It's going to be a busy week for us as a team, a busy week for our parishes, and we're excited to dive in a bit deeper today and throughout the week. So we're going to have our thought of the week now. Do we have a title slide?
We do.
Absolutely. Okay, so I thought for our thought of the week, we would have this quote from Pope St. John Paul II, who's one of our team's patron saints. We love him a lot. We use him often. And he said, "Do not abandon yourself to despair. We are an Easter people and Alleluia is our song." And I know that we shouldn't really say the A
You
word
said
yet.
it. You said it.
But it's okay, it's not in the liturgy, I'm okay. You can get off on a technicality. But I just thought it was really good because sometimes in Holy Week, we hear lots of different things and they go from the high points Like we heard on Palm Sunday yesterday when Jesus entered into Jerusalem and the people were cheering for him, they were happy to see him. And then very quickly, we're on Good Friday, and that is the lowest point. And I was thinking about how Holy Week can represent a bit our lives at the moment. You know, there's some days where we think, yeah, this is okay, I can do this. And then other days, especially with this lockdown, where we think, actually, today is not such a great day. Like today feels a bit rubbish. But Pope St. John Paul II was saying in that quote that there's always hope, that we know that there's always hope coming. So I just have a little something to show you here. Hopefully it'll work, and then we're going to chat about it afterwards.
Sorry, Mum, I wasn't paying attention. 1 second. Here we go.
It's Friday. The earth trembles. The sky grows dark. My King yields his spirit. It's Friday. Hope is lost. Death has won. Sin has conquered. And Satan's just a laughing. It's Friday. Jesus is buried. A soldier stands guard, and a rock is rolled into place. But it's Friday. It is only Friday. Sunday is a coming.
I have some questions for us all to answer. Just really about this week, what's coming up. So my first question is, what can we learn from the events of Holy Week? What can we take away from them?
So Holy Week obviously started yesterday, didn't it? The Palm Sunday, and I think for me the first thing that we do in Holy Week is we see Jesus coming into Jerusalem. What did he come in?
A donkey.
I don't see. I'm gonna quiz you now. See, get back. But the fact that like Jesus could have come in on a massive big horse and a carriage, he could have come in. You know what I mean? But actually, no. He chose to come in a donkey. Like, and I think that sets the scene for us moving into Holy Week. And for me, something I can learn is like that humility of Jesus is something that we need to carry into Holy Week, and for me is really, really important. I love the liturgy of Holy Week, and it's quite sad that it's quite different this year, but I think there's so many symbols and so many signs in it that we miss often. And so for me, I don't know if it's answering the question, maybe it's the next question, but like it's just to watch those little details, because there's so many symbols in it. The whole idea of Jesus washing the feet on Thursday, just incredible. Do you know what I mean? But for me, it's just watching that, and it started with humility, and I think for me that's what I can learn from Holy Week, is that we need to be humble in all we do.
Absolutely. What about you, Tom? What do you learn from the events of Holy Week that we hear about?
I think we, as everyone, definitely learn patience, really, because I know, like, throughout the week we're just like, oh, it's nearly Easter, it's the last week, and there's so much that goes on. Yet we have to be so patient and wait for Easter. And it's kind of like watching your favorite Netflix series, and you're coming up with the finale, and you're just like anticipating it and everything. You've got to just be patient, and like I think it's definitely something which we can all take from, because I think sometimes, especially, we need to be patient with God, and because He's definitely patient with us all the time. So I think we need to be patient as well. But it's definitely something we can learn and reflect on.
Yeah, we don't want to be looking forward to our Easter eggs so much that we miss out on all the goodness that goes on this week. Absolutely. Thanks, Tom. Okay, so my next question is, how can we keep hope when things get difficult? And I know that we've talked about this a bit, but I want to specifically think about Holy Week, because one thing we were doing on our altar service day on Saturday was thinking about how the different people we hear about in Holy Week would have felt. You know, how would the disciples have felt? How would Mary have felt? How would Jesus have felt? And actually, it's really great that we can look back on this week and we know that Easter is coming. Like that video said, we know that Sunday is coming, but on Good Friday, Jesus' disciples had been told, I don't think they really knew what was going to happen on the Sunday. So how can we keep hope when things get difficult?
At the risk of maybe just reiterating what you said there, Sophie, see, when you take this whole period of like lockdown and like the time we've just been through, it's like a Holy Week, isn't it? If you think about the sort of the highs and lows of lockdown, it's just like Holy Week. And I think if you look through the liturgies of Holy Week, there's every emotion ever imagined. And there's ups and downs. And if you think about that moment of Jesus into Jerusalem, then to that moment of Good Friday, and it's just like that whole solemnity of Good Friday and the sorrow and the heartache that comes into it. But I think for me, the hope comes that Easter is coming. The end is there. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that's where you've got to keep focused on. Now, it's just, I suppose it's this story, we all know the ending, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, we know what happens. We know Jesus dies. We know he rises. And I think that's what you've got to keep in sight. And so, to answer the question, is we've got to keep our eyes on that end game. And a bit like the current pandemic, we've got to keep our eyes on the end. That actually life will come back to normal. If it kills me, it will come back to normal. But Easter will happen. Jesus will rise again. And that's what we need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely think something I've been looking into is obviously Holy Saturday, which I didn't actually know too much about before. And after doing a bit of research, it's kind of like you see that they're very like scared and everything, and they're very, just like hiding away and everything. And the feelings that were going through their heads would probably be panic and sadness and everything. Yeah, I feel like even though Jesus said there will have been like a little something in them, there's a bit of something deep down just saying like I'm still here. I'm still here at some point, and I think that's like, even if it seems like the tiniest bit of hope, I think that can go a long way. So I think they probably had that within them. So yeah, I feel like that's a good way of keeping hope, because even the smallest bits are still hope. So
I think what's really interesting is the Saturday daytime's kind of just forgotten. It's almost like a bit of time just to prepare for the Easter Vigil, when actually it's that time when Jesus was in the tomb, and it's often, I believe, quite forgotten.
Yeah, and I think Good Friday and Holy Saturday in particular remind me that even though Jesus on the cross that must have been the most horrific thing ever, like it's something horrible that we don't really like to think of, but it's called Good Friday, and it's because God can make something good from everything. Like, even when it seems like the worst thing ever, nothing good could possibly come from this, there's always a lesson to be learned, there's always hope to be had, we can always cling on to love and all those good things, and God can make something good happen out of it. God can make something good come from all this time we've spent at home, all of the hugs that we've missed and things. We've learned lessons along the way, and eventually there's going to be something good come from it, even if it's just having my friend in the garden for a cup of tea this week.
It's coming close.
There's good coming. As of today, you can come to my garden and you can have a cup of tea at the other end.
You've stolen my hot topic.
It's going to be good. Okay, last question, and then we'll move on to Sandy's challenge. We can just chat about this really quickly. So we heard in our quote that we are an Easter people and Alleluia is our song. And I don't want to preempt the weekend, but I just want to think about how can we be an Easter people all year round? So even a Holy Week people, how can we make sure we're remembering this? And it's not just a 1 week only thing. How can we let what we're going to experience this week influence us throughout the year?
I think that's where, again, I'm going to jump back to what we were talking about on the sort of the Easter Saturday, that daytime. The disciples just went and hid. They disappeared, and I think that's what we need not to do. We need to, if we're going to be people of Easter, we need to be proud of our faith. We need to be able to share it all the time. We need to be true disciples of Jesus in spreading the word here, there, and everywhere. And I think often life can be a bit like an Easter Saturday, where actually we choose to hide our faith. But actually, to be a people of Easter, we need to be an Easter Sunday. We need to be people of the resurrection. If that answered the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that. The joy that we feel on Easter it's easy just to keep it to one day, isn't it? And also the reflection that we have in Holy Week, it's easy to just keep that to this week as well. But we've got to have both, haven't we? We've got to have that time of stillness and reflection that we're going to experience this week, because that's what helps us to experience the joy, isn't there? I think it's true that if there was no sadness, there wouldn't be any joy. You know, if we didn't know the hard times, we wouldn't be able to experience the good times. So something to hold on to. Okay, Sandy, I think you have a challenge for us now. We'll stop talking for a bit and we'll let you challenge us.
There's the music. The Lone Rider is playing in the background. Right. So, before we started, I asked Sophie. Oh, that's a wee bit loud. I asked Sophie and Tom to go and get themselves a piece of paper and some scissors. Okay. So I'm going to give you 1 minute when I can find a time device. Okay, and with your scissors and with your paper, I need you to make some silhouettes. Okay, so I need you to cut out some silhouettes, and I want a symbol for each day of the Triduum. Okay, so I don't want Palm Sunday, I want the Triduum. I want Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday, okay, or the Easter Vigil. Okay, so 1 second, just let me start the clock. So you're going to get 1 minute on the timer. Okay, in fact, tell you what, let's be nice to you. I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes, and I want 1 minute, and I want 3 symbols. Are you ready? On your marks, set. However, I will also give points for creativity.
Okay.
Not just the obvious. Go. Okay, so whilst they're cutting out, I think it's important to point out that the Triduum is 3 days, okay? Now, we'll go into more details later on today about what the Triduum is and what it means. But Holy Week is longer than just the Triduum, okay? So Holy Week has already started. We've already begun it. You might see some people around about having symbols up in their windows saying this is Holy Week. And especially in this time of pandemic, I think it's important to recognise that. 30 seconds left. And so, Holy Week is a really special week. It's almost like taking Lent to the next level. And so we're really encouraged to really reflect, to really try, and really look at Holy Week in a different way. 13 seconds. 10 seconds. The Lone Rider is still playing. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm just finishing my last cut.
Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to stop the timer.
There we go.
Okay. So, Tom, share with us your Monday, Thursday symbol.
Well, I've just sort of done them all in one, really.
Oh,
I
he's
didn't
done a wee
think
bit of
that,
cheating there. He's done
I
a
didn't
wee
think we
bit
had
of
enough
cheating.
time, so it's all sort of preparation. I was going to put like a little tomb here as well, with
Clever.
way, but that was going to be.
Okay, so Tom's
But we only got 1 minute, so.
Tom's just lost the challenge because he never stuck to the rules.
Well,
But we'll give you that. So just Tom,
I
just
think
tell us what
creativity-
your symbol is and why you did that.
okay, so obviously
Apart
we've
from
got
the fact you were cheating.
we have this, which is supposed to be Golgotha,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously the cross, for Good Friday, and then I was going to put a little tomb here for Sunday, and then I was going to do something for.
This is where he's trying to struggle to get it all
This is where I
together.
struggle.
Okay, Tom.
Yeah.
Valiant effort, sir, but sorry. Sophie, give us your
Okay.
Monday, Thursday symbol.
Well, in true primary teacher style, I went all out cutting out. So I have a foot going into a bowl of water for Monday, Thursday for the washing
Nice.
off the feet. Looks a bit like a golf club, but
More like a sock.
yeah, well, I only had a minute. I couldn't cut out all the toes.
Okay, what about Good Friday then?
I just went for a cross. I couldn't really be too. I think it's
Okay,
important that we just focus on the cross for Good Friday, And then a Holy Saturday, I did a flame to represent the candle and the light of the world. And, you know, it's when the Paschal candle comes in, and I'm going to talk a bit about that later on.
So Sophie did a sock and a leaf. But anyway, but I think also, and the point, there was a point to this, by the way, is that actually there's so many different symbols in that week. You see Tom doing the empty tomb, the open tomb. There's so many different symbols that we missed this week. That's really, really well worth spotting. So anyway, we shall move on, and we're going to look at the saint.
Cool. So, okay, this week we're going to be looking at St. John, also one of the disciples. I've got a little video that we're going to watch first, and then we're going to chat about him after. So we're going to get straight into that video, and I'll talk about him after.
St. John the Apostle was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus. He was called to be an apostle by our Lord in the first year of his public ministry. St. John is considered the same person as John the Evangelist, John of Patmos, and the beloved disciple. He is the patron saint of love, loyalty, friendships, and authors. John and Peter were the only two apostles sent by Jesus to make preparations for the final Passover meal, the Last Supper. During the meal, John sat next to Jesus, leaning against him rather than lying along the couches. He was the only one of the 12 apostles who did not forsake the Savior in the hour of his passion. He stood faithfully at the cross where the Savior made John the guardian of his mother. After the Assumption of Mary, John traveled to Ephesus, where he was banished by Roman authorities to the Greek island of Patmos after being plunged into boiling oil in Rome and suffering no injuries. It is also said that all those who witnessed the miracle in the Colosseum were converted to Christianity. John is believed to be the longest living apostle and the only not to die a martyr's death. The beloved disciple died in Ephesus after 98 AD, where a stately church was erected over his tomb. He is known as the author of the Gospel of John and 4 other books in the New Testament, the 3 epistles of John, and the book of Revelation. St. John is often depicted in art as the author of the Gospel with an eagle, symbolizing the height he rose to in his Gospel. In other icons, he is shown looking up into heaven and dictating his Gospel to his disciples.
Okay, cool. So, St. John, what a cool guy. We actually hear about him so much if you think about it, because he's pretty much there from where Jesus starts his ministry, really. Or picks him up. But yeah, he's there until the very end as well. And I think it's quite a good thing, because realistically, with this Holy Week now, he's actually part of Holy Week. He's integrated into that. One of the things I love about St. John is, as you might have seen in the video, there's a picture of him just lying his head on Jesus' shoulder during the final, like, sort of the Last Supper. That's the one. They've got the name of it. And I think that's a really good image of who St. John is, because he seems to be a loyal disciple to Jesus. He never seems to be too far away from him. He's always by his side, and he's always there, being that person to be his right hand man, really. But I think he really is important, because even at the end of when Jesus is on the cross, he literally hands Mary over to John, but for John to look after her. And I think be given that responsibility to look after our Mother Mary is quite an honour, really. And I think that really displays his character, because he's been so loyal, he's been so close that he can trust him, and he can, like, here is my mother, and look after her. And he doesn't say a word. He just says, of course. Like, he wouldn't. Why else would he say anything else? He's such a good friend of Jesus, and I really do think he's a great person to look at, because even after Jesus had gone, the way he spread the word and the way he went around and performed miracles and really took what he had and gave out to the people and spread the good news, I think is a prime example of, as we were saying before, about keeping that Easter joy and spreading it throughout the year, instead of it just being, oh, it's just Easter. It's like, now now that Jesus is risen, I have to go and spread that news with everyone. I think it's a really good example of not only a good friend, but someone who really has a heart for Jesus. So that is the saint of the week. Teacher.
Okay, so we're going to do a highlight of the week, but rather than do like a normal highlight of the week, we're actually going to do a future highlight. So what is your favorite part of Holy Week, and what are you looking forward to?
So for me, this goes back a few years actually. I'm a Good Friday person. I like Good Friday. I think the liturgy there, the simplicity of it is incredible. But a few years ago, I was working in London, and I helped out in the local parish, my local parish, and we had a massive squad of altar servers. And I think for a lot of parishes, it's like, right, roll out the whole troop on Good Friday. And so this Good Friday, we had nearly 80 altar servers being involved in the liturgy. But also what was important for the parish there was that actually it was the servers that started the Good Friday liturgy. So the bell would ring at 3 o'clock, and it would just keep tolling, and the servers just started. Now, if you were in the first 60, you were dressed properly. If you were in the latters, your kind of your albs and your cassocks were starting to get a bit short on the legs or short on the arms. But for me, it was two things about that, and it sort of stayed with me for Good Friday nowadays as well, is that it was led by young people, but also it was just the solemnity that those young people could carry was incredible. And I think for me, what I'm looking forward to this Easter, because it's going to be different, is being able to share the liturgy with everybody at home. And I think that's one of the things I think we've been able to do this year, is to bring church to people's houses, and hopefully with a little bit of help from ourselves to unpick some of the stuff that's happening there. So yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I think I definitely have a soft spot for Good Friday as well, but I'm actually going to say Palm Sunday. Two reasons. Number one, I actually do really enjoy Palm Sunday. I think it's a really cool way to sort of go about things. I just really like the day. I think it's a day of joy. Seeing Jesus come in, but into Jerusalem, but as I said, on that donkey and everything. I think it's such a powerful image, really. But I'm going to put a little plug in right now. Yesterday I released a video on YouTube. It's called Faith in 5, a new series which actually talks about all the stuff in Holy Week, what we're going to do with it as well. If you want to check out what happens on Palm Sunday in under 5 minutes, 5 minutes and under, explain what it is. So you can also check that out on our YouTube channel as well. Shameless plug.
That was a shameless plug at the wrong time of the broadcast, Tom.
But
we'll forgive you.
But yeah, I do really enjoy Palm Sunday. I was looking to be able to do the Master's Will yesterday. I was handing out some pounds for everyone, so it's really nice.
It's good. I think for me, my favourite bit is I'm a Holy Saturday person. One year I was able to spend the full Holy Week staying with a community of nuns in a convent, and we did Holy Week, you know, like if there was a theme to be had, we went for it. We spent a lot of time praying. And Holy Week was interesting because, like you were saying, Sandy, Holy Week before then had been just kind of like a waiting, just preparing, last minute buying Easter eggs, getting the dinner in for the next day. Whereas when I was at the convent, we spent the day cleaning the house and preparing for Easter in that way. So it was a really great experience to get ready for the Easter Vigil. And I just love that feeling on Easter Saturday. Now I try and do the same thing of just preparing my house, but also myself for what's coming. So while you're cleaning, you can pray, you can spend it in silence, really, and just that day of quiet to prepare for the craziness that is the Easter Vigil. It's like the service of all services, isn't it? Just getting ready for that. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is Holy Saturday.
Okay, so I've gone a bit wayward with Hot Topic this week, possibly. But seeing as it's Easter, I thought, well, what the hey. So, 2 hot topics that I thought we'd bring up this morning. First of all, have you heard about the big boat that's got stuck in the big canal? right? So that's one. Okay, I just think it's quite funny. Like this isn't just like a little canal boat plodding along. This is like a massive container ship. Okay, stuck in it is Suez. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Now, first of all, there's that, right? And then there's the fact that today we're starting to be released from lockdown. So this is where my thinking's coming, right? The container ship's a bit like Holy Week, okay? It stops us, okay? It's stuck. And then the release from lockdown is like the resurrection. It's starting to come to an end. You know what I mean? So, so first of all, this big ship that's got stuck in a canal. I was reading a bit about it yesterday, and I think it's quite incredible. They managed to get it stuck on both ends as well. So it's not just wedged in at one end; it's wedged in at both ends. And they're going to start taking off some of the containers from it because it's too heavy to turn around. And just this morning, they've started to release it. So what my thinking was, is that just that's getting released back into the canal, just ready to journey along for Holy Week. But one of the things I was reading as well is like there's like thousands of ships stuck behind it that just can't go anywhere. So there's like all these different cargo vessels just waiting. But apparently the other option is to go round by the bottom of South Africa. But that takes 2 weeks longer. So you can either get through the canal, wait for this big ship to be shifted, or travel another 2 weeks. I think I'd be sitting moored up waiting to go. But I just think it's incredible that these big things happen, and sometimes we'd never know about it, but it's in the news all over the place at the minute. But then I think obviously the resurrection point is that yes, we are coming to an end of some lockdown releases, if you like, or coming to the beginning of some lockdown releases. And I think it is a really big thing that's starting to go. We're starting to see the light at the end of that tunnel. And God willing that everybody sticks to the rules and we do our best, we'll see the back of this. So, any thoughts?
I am very excited to have people in my garden. Our garden is right here. It's about 1 meter by 3 meters. It's the smallest yard outside our small house, but I'm so excited. We've spent so much time. We got some free pallets. We've painted them up. I went and bought some flowers. I bought a little dining set, and I'm just really excited to see people. I know we're still staying local. We don't have that many friends around here because we moved to a new town. But even just to have my dad in the garden. My mum's part of our bubble, but I've not seen my dad in ages. It'll just be nice to have my dad at the other end of the garden for a cup of tea. So.
And at least your garden's 3 meters, because then at least there's a good social distance.
I know he can sit down by the bins. I'll sit on my nice bench at the top. We're just really excited to see people. I think, like you say, I was a big believer in, we'll do our bit and we'll get through it. And if it keeps people safe, I'll stay inside. That's okay. But I am really happy now that hopefully the sun will stay out and we can just start to have a little bit of being able to see the people that we love, and one day I'll be able to hug my family.
Yeah, it's so true. I think I'd say a little nerdy fact first about that ship. Apparently, it takes $400 million every hour or every day it's stuck there. So out of the world economy, it takes $400 million, which is absolutely.
And that's because of the number of ships that should be passing that point at that time. Apparently, it's one of the world's busiest canals.
Oh, it's crazy. But as you said, I'm really excited as well, just to be able to see friends, really, just converse with another person. I don't know about YouTube, but I found it if I'm in shopping or something, or if I see another person, I actually find it really hard to converse now. Because I'm just after the COVID chat, I'm well, there's nothing, you've probably actually done nothing, so
well,
where do I go with the conversation?
It's when somebody says, what did you do? I sat in my house all week. Went to
exactly
Asda.
what you did. Yeah. I mean, but it is going to be nice to understand.
And I can't remember the last time I shook somebody's hand. And I think it'll be stuff like that that'll be very, very strange. When everything comes back again. So, shall we bring all this together in prayer?
Yeah.
Okay, so because we've done lots of chatting today, I think we'll just finish with a prayer together. So if you just want to take a moment, it's always a good idea to start on Monday mornings off with a prayer to start the week right. So we'll just pray together. Jesus, we know that we are your beloved, that everything you went through in Holy Week was because you love us, and we thank you for that. We pray this week that we may open our eyes, ears, and hearts to what you have to say to us through the services and the scriptures, and that even though it's hard with all the restrictions, we may encounter you. Fill us again with Easter joy so that we can share your love with those around us. Amen.
Amen.
So, Tom, are we getting an introduction to this one?
Yeah, it's not. It's this time. It's actually not some sort of like fluffy animal. It is that I just find it quite a funny video. It's quite a silly video, but I'll just let it play and just let you see what you think.
E a 150 metri dall'arrivo, Melangeni ancora in testa, gli sta incollato Alfonso, Zolani lo incalza, eccoli addirittura, Melangeni non molla, ma che succede? Quello è Franco, il nostro cameraman, e vai Franco vai, ha corso tutta la gara con la telecamera in spalla, è incredibile! Melangeni avrà l'oro, ma il cameraman che passerà alla storia!
Non credere ai tuoi occhi.
So a little silly video. I think the cameraman definitely deserves the medal instead. That's quite a lot of effort carrying like a 25-kilogram camera on your shoulder and running. So fair enough to him. I hope that brightened up the start of your day. And yeah,
I think it's quite interesting that the cameraman actually won.
I know. Yeah,
I wonder how far he actually run. That's the question, but.
I like we just stopped focusing on actually filming them and just actually finished the race.
So it's quite a busy week for us this week, and I suppose that was what we expect really when it is Holy Week. So, Tom, give us repeat your shameless plug that you dropped in earlier.
Well, we'll be releasing. So we've actually already released the first episode to our new series, Faith in 5, which is looking at different topics and explaining them in 5 minutes and under. And the first one was Palm Sunday, and then you will also get some more throughout Holy Week. So get excited for them. If you've not seen them, go join them, go watch them, and also, as you say, subscribe. But I'll let Sandy do the proper social media outro.
But also this week we're bringing Holy Week live to YouTube. Sophie, do you want to say a bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much every day, I'm just looking at my sheet here, apart from Tuesday, we've got something going live on YouTube. So today at 4 o'clock, you can join Sandy and Father Chris. They're going to be doing like a rundown of Holy Week, exploring the themes, what we're going to see. And then you can join us each day of the Triduum 20 minutes before services go live. We'll just be doing a little bit of an explanation and helping us unpack what we're going to see. And then you can join us again after the service as we just have a little recap. And we're going to go live from different parishes around the diocese. So if you're in one of those parishes, then look out for that.
Yep. And also on Good Friday night, we're going to do prayer around the cross, and I'm really looking forward to that. I always find that's quite a powerful moment, so do join us for that as well. Don't forget that, as always, you can. Oh, it's on that side this time. Don't forget to click follow, because then you will actually be able to know what's happening when it's happening. And apart from that, we will see you at some point during the week. Now, I have forgotten to put the introduction slide in, so we're just going to go to Goes Live and play some music, and then we'll play ourselves out. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. We hope you have a very blessed Holy Week. Do enter into it, and we shall look forward to you joining us at some point during the week. Have a great week, folks.